Hey guys, welcome to Thermomix Adventures. My name is Lisa Keegan and today we are wrapping up our butterfly focused week where hopefully you've got the skills and tips to use your butterfly with ease and confidence every single time. Now today I'm so excited to share this mango Swiss roll with you. I'm doing a strawberry version, but I'm looking forward to showing you the butterfly in two different ways today. One, to make the beautiful sponge, two, to make the filling, and then I'm going to show you the skills to roll this up so that you can impress yourself and your friends with it as well. So let's get started. It is on cookie dough, which makes that step-by-step recipes really easy. First thing, preheat the oven, okay? In essence, we're making a really thin sponge cake, so we need that oven ready to go. Line a Swiss roll tray. Now, I've actually got the medium-sized rose gold tray from the mix shop. It's about 34 by 24. They say 30 by 20. Work with what you've got, okay? Line it with baking paper. You do need baking paper. You cannot skip that, okay? Insert your butterfly whisk. So by now, you know, we find the high blades and we go on the back side and it plops down into place, okay? Next up, we're going to place 3 large eggs into the bowl. Beautiful. And we're going to add 120 grams of caster. I don't have caster. I'm using raw, okay? So it works. Roll with what you've got. All right, 120 grams. Don't skimp on this. We are making, as I said, a sponge cake kind of concept in here, except we don't have to aerate it separately, which I do love the fact that it's all in one. Some of you guys years ago were lucky enough to get on a cook-along in 2020 with me. We used to do weekend cook-alongs when we were in lockdown, and we actually made this as part of it. And I remember you guys being so impressed with yourself and what you created. So hence the reason it's back. I was like, oh, it's been too long. All right, on with the lid and the measuring cup, and we're going to whip this up for 6 minutes on speed 3. So I'll spin that to speed 3, and I'll see you in 6 minutes to show you, let's try that again, to show you the next step of this recipe. So we'll see you soon. Okay, so that step's done, and now we just go next. Place a small bowl on the mixing bowl lid and weigh, and I want 70 grams of self-raising flour. So I've actually just put mine aside in a bowl already. I got that organized beforehand. And now it wants you to sieve the flour into the mixing bowl. Now I've got to say, every time I've made this, I haven't bothered. If you've got massive chunks in your self-raising flour, then maybe it's worth doing, but I haven't found I've needed to. So it's saying to insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl then. I don't know why they tell you to do that part, but anyway, we're going to spin it up, and then they're going to actually ask us to put it in 1 spoon at a time. So if we go in a second, remove the butterfly whisk. No, hang on. We've skipped a step. Let's go back. Somewhere here. There we go. Sieve it into the mixing bowl there. I can't read. My apologies. So at this point in time, they want you to put this into here. You can see in there, look how beautiful and whipped up that is. So in this goes, and as I said, unless you've got big chunks, don't worry about it. Okay, in that goes. Let's try again. Let's see if I can read the instructions. Insert the measuring cup, and now it's going to go 15 seconds speed. 2.5. That works better. Now, you want to have ready your tray. So your tray is going to be where you are spreading it out in a moment. You need baking paper on your tray so that it can come off easily when it's cooked, because when it comes out of the oven, it's actually really soft, and we need it to be really soft because we're then going to straight away, while it's warm, roll it and put a wet towel over the top. So just letting you know, I know some of you guys cooked this video, just stepping ahead so that you know what you need. So remove the butterfly whisk. It's done in there. Woohoo. All right, wiggle and jiggle sideways. This time you can't really flick it off to the sides like I've told you in the past to do, so you really just need to find somewhere to put it. It's not too messy. Just going to put it on my little bowl for the flour down there. And then we're going to spread this out. So transfer it into the prepared tin and spread to the corners. Now I've pushed it down well, and I've creased the corners super well, because they're the parts, and actually I'm just going to stir this last little bit in. They're the parts that you that can cause a bit of trouble when you're trying to later on roll it, if the edges, if the corners aren't nicely finished, you know, if they're a bit crunchy because of the sides. So in goes this mix. Now you're going to look at it and go, oh, it's a bit like a pancake mix or a pikelet batter. It is supposed to be, okay? It's not going to rise far. We're only going to see it rise a little bit, probably half its height again, because we need to be able to roll it. If it was too dense, and that's the thing, if you have a tin that's too small, you'll find it becomes too thick and you actually can't roll it. But the cake is too thick to roll. So push this out to the corners. I think you can see me back here. Make sure you get it to the corners. My tin is that little bit bigger, so being that it's bigger, it's going to make a thinner one, which is fine. It just means I do need to keep an eye on my oven to make sure it does not overcook, because this does not take long in the oven at all. It'll tell us in a moment how long. And in the comments today, have you made a roll before? There's a beautiful hazelnut roll, and obviously there's this one, which doesn't have to be mango. If you don't like mango, it does not have to be mango. So just make sure we're nice and level here, because you need to be able to roll it and also get an even cook. So, by the way, this was not greased, this paper. And I can't remember last time I made it, if I greased it or not. It didn't say to grease it. I feel like last time I actually greased it and it was easier to remove, but hey, let's report back, because I'm going to do these next steps with you on camera soon as well. So I'm going to get this in the oven. It says to cook it in the oven for 14 to 16 minutes. So keep an eye on it. Your oven will be different, and because mine's thinner, mine's going to cook in probably 12 to 14 minutes as well. So I'm going to get this in the oven. I'm going to come back though while it's in the oven, and I'm going to show you how to make the beautiful inside creamy yogurt mix that goes in the middle of this. So I'll see you in a second for that next step. Okay, welcome back. I've grabbed a new bowl. I've washed out the butterfly and it's in the oven, okay? Now we do need to wait for it to cool to actually be able to move on and ice it, because obviously heat and icing does not go well together. You cannot shortcut that step. But what I want to do is show you the butterfly twice today, because this is the last kind of chance, and I want to make sure you've really got that confidence nailed and down packed. So let's keep going. Clean the butterfly, scatter some sugar over the piece of baking paper. This is to do with rolling it out. I'm going to show you that in motion shortly. So we'll just skip through this and I will step you through that actually step by step soon. So here we go. Insert our butterfly whisk. Last chance to get it stuck in our head. High blades, backside. Okay? Now, by the way, my bowl's not dry. It doesn't matter. I'm not whipping eggs this time. I'm purely combining yogurt and cream and some sugar. So 200 grams of double cream. That's because I think it must be an American recipe. I'm not sure, but just use your pure cream, or if you're really stuck, your normal thickened cream. That's the word I'm after. Next up, we've got some Greek yogurt. Make it yourself. It's amazing, okay? So this is just your homemade yogurt in your Thermomix. I've got lots of videos on that, so do check those out. Oh, that'll do. Icing sugar. You guys know me. I didn't make it. I'm just going to use raw sugar. It'll be fine, okay? Absolutely fine. 50 grams. Actually, I was really tempted just to leave this out, because I thought, oh, there's enough sugar in that cake. I mean, if you're entertaining with friends, you're going to put it all in. My kids are going to just eat it, and they're just going to be high as a kite. So we're going to cut that down a little bit so that they don't get too excited by all that sugar. Next, on with the lid. And we're going to finish this off. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to show you actually how to assemble. Oh, what did I do there? Excited how to assemble it in a minute. Turn speed to speed 3. Watching carefully so not to over whip. Okay, so see across the bottom. So we're now whipping this up. So let's take this off so you guys can have a look in there and see. Looking for it to whip up to soft or harder peaks. Keeping an eye on it. See how that kind of gripped to the sides and then it fell down? That's at your indication that you're kind of at soft peaks. So see how it fell to the bottom, but I've got to be really careful, because much more, you can see how it's actually hanging out around the sides. Oh, I'm dripping cream everywhere. It's actually hanging out around the sides of the blades, and you can see it's holding form. So the bottom of that's actually thick, ready to go as well. So I'm actually going to stop there. We just need this, I guess, thick enough. Just going to clean up the cream off the mouse. Just going to have a look at it and see. Now, if I can do this and it's not running around, barring dripping some stuff off it, it's ready. So that's awesome. That's what we want in there, is we actually want that soft peak. So that's actually ready to go. So I can just sit that in the fridge, or I can put it into a bowl, put it in the fridge, and it'll be ready for when our cake is cool in a moment to roll up. So I'm excited to share this with you shortly. So remove the butterfly whisk, and I'm going to stop there on this step. Because I'm going to just show you the assembly in a moment when that cake is cool. So I'll be back soon. I'm going to show you how to put these bits all together and roll this up beautifully. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, I'm back. I've just got it out the oven. It's super duper hot, and now we actually have to turn it upside down onto another piece of baking paper that I've scattered sugar onto, okay? It's kind of this thing you've got to work quite quickly here because you want this not like that. I dropped it in my attempt to not burn myself. Let's just slide it up. There we go. Let's try again. We've got to flip this upside down onto, that's actually easier. Lift it up with your baking paper, guys. Baking paper's not hot. Lift it up onto here, and now we want to work to get it off this baking paper. So we're going to lift up the sides, and it's not going to stick to the bottom part because the bottom part actually has sugar on it. So I put 1 tablespoon of sugar on there, and let's work around the edges. Got to get the edges off. As I said, the corners are your tricky part. I find they're always the part that stick. And we're just going to pull carefully off the bottom. Now I did do 2 minutes shorter, okay? So 2 minutes shorter time. But mine is also thinner. It's on that larger tray, so my mixture is a bit thinner there. All right, let's get that out of the corner there. That's my horrible crease line I just made when I dropped it. Anyway, let's keep working. It's going to taste amazing. It's going to look amazing. You can do this in your home easily and simply. Just try and get that crease line out. Because it's so hot, I can actually still work with it to reshape it, which is what we're going to do in a second. Oh, that's hot back there. We're actually going to reshape this in a moment. Oh, here we go. Pull it from the other side. Makes it so much easier. So, we're actually going to give it its curl before it cools, because if you wait till it cools, it's going to struggle to be rolled up. So, I hope you can hear me from this far away on the mic still. Alright, nearly done. Last little bit. This is the little bit here where it's bent from dropping it. Alright, nothing like keeping it real. So now what we do is we put a little slice, and because I've mucked up this end, I'm going to try and show you guys. Can you guys see the crease line? That's the drop. That's where I dropped it. That's the line. I'm actually going to roll that bit on the inside because the other end still looks really quite pretty and presentable. So when I roll it, no one will even notice. Oh, burnt myself again on the tray. So 1 centimetre in, just knock it down with a knife, not all the way through, just enough to give you a space to roll on, okay? So roll it. Now I've seen people roll it the other way as well from the long side. By all means, if you prefer, do that. We want to keep this paper inside, and we're just going to roll it up. I'm trying really hard not to burn myself on the tray again. The rose gold tray holds the heat really nicely. Okay, rolling it up really tight. And then we're going to cover it. Oh, make sure you're going straight. We're now going to cover it with a damp washer. And what that does is it allows it to cool, but it allows it to hold form as well. So it is held in by the baking paper that had the sugar on it. So it will be contained there as well. So we're going to let this cool, and I'm going to come back in, probably going to take about 20 minutes to cool, I reckon. And I'll show you how we unroll it, ice it, and finish this off with the beautiful jam. And we're going to also put this beautiful mix into it as well. So I shall see you shortly. And I'm going to get this hot tray out the way so I don't burn myself again. So we'll see you soon. Okay, it's time to finish this off. Now it says to remove the butterfly whisk, and it says to fold in some mango. So this is where we're actually going to be doing today just some strawberry jam, homemade strawberry jam. I don't think it particularly tells me, it says 100 grams. I'm just going to do a couple of big scoops. It looks amazing. Nothing better than homemade strawberry jam. And then we're going to just fold it through like it says. So just give it a couple of mixes through to get that spread a little bit in there. And then we're going to unfold this cooled roll, okay? Now it does need to be cool, so make sure by this stage it's cool, otherwise it just melts that cream and that makes a big slimy disaster. Tasty disaster, but slimy nonetheless. So unroll the cooled sponge and then spread the filling evenly over the surface, leaving 1 centimetre border around. That's because it will by nature push out, okay? So it'll kind of shove everything out to the edge. Let's undo this. Let's have a look. You guys can see as I do this up the back here. Just be careful as you get to the center. I do find inevitably the piece that tries to break is the first part. And if you've overcooked it, I find as well it's quite tricky to work with because it can be then really quite dry. But this is really quite soft, which is lovely. So I don't know if I need all of this or not. So I might just put a portion out. I find they're usually quite generous with the amount. Now you can see I'm working carefully up here to take it up, and remember that 1 centimetre border around it. So leave that gap because it will ooze as we roll it. And just try and get a little bit into that initial crease line, just so that you get a little bit of beautiful colour through there. And nearly finished. Though I feel like that last scoop might have been a little too much. But anyway, remember to finish a centimetre short of the length as well. Even a little less. I find sometimes a little less is a little safer, because it is going to ooze, okay? I push a fair bit up to the centre, knowing that it's going to keep rolling out. And now, the moment of truth. Use your baking paper to lift it and roll it. Because you had that sugar on there, you'll notice that it doesn't stick to the baking paper. It rolls up beautifully in there. Just keep it rolling it evenly. Don't press it down, because you guys can see that wave of topping that's coming this way. So what I'll do is I'll actually grab the spatula and I'll just, before it gets too far in, take a bit of that out so it doesn't ooze too far out. At the moment, that'll fold in nicely then without making a big mess. If you wait much longer, then you'll end up with it oozing out the end. So it will, by the looks of it, still ooze a little bit. But look at that. Oh my goodness, so good. All right, and then that's going to go on the little join line is going to go on the bottom of the presentation kind of tray, okay? So I've got a chopping board up the back here, which I'm going to attempt to get it onto without making a mess. Just come over here. What I'm going to try and do, you won't have this much trouble in your kitchen. It's because I'm working in a bit of a, small space here, trying to get you guys a good view of what's going on. But there you go. Look at that. How cool does that look? Now, sprinkling of icing sugar, and it'll be good to go. Obviously, slicing off the ends. You do have the beautiful shimmer here of the caster sugar, or raw sugar I use. So a little bit of advice is I would actually be putting a little bit more onto that. I did use 1 tablespoon exactly. I'd put more because I reckon that shimmer coming through is absolutely beautiful, okay? So, bit hard to see actually if I put it under here. See that shimmer? That's what you want. So now it's just a matter of not breaking it, but slicing it up and seeing your beautiful bit inside as well. If you want to make it firmer to slice, refrigerate it, okay? Because your cream and your yogurt will set and it'll be easier to slice up. But that is how you make your own Swiss roll in your Thermomix. Pretty easy, really. Okay, I hope today I've demystified any of those steps that have stopped you making it. I hope you feel confident this week with the use of your butterfly, that you can whip up amazing things like this, knowing your butterfly is going to stay put every time. Please reach out if I can support you with anything with your Thermomix. That's what I'm here for. I love nothing more than helping you get the most out of it and make amazing food that you can go, oh my gosh, I made that. And there's no way that I would without a Thermomix, because hand on heart, before I had a Thermomix, there is no way I would have made this. Okay, there is no way I would have even attempted to. So I'm so grateful to have a Thermomix and then be able to teach you guys, and I guess be challenged to learn these things to then be able to teach you guys the same thing. So thanks for joining me today. Thank you for joining in this week. Please remember to share these videos with your friends and family who have a Thermomix, or maybe they need the ease a Thermomix brings. Maybe they love baking, or maybe they're terrible at it like me and need something to guide them step by step. But make sure people know that there's an easier way to do life in our kitchen, in our busy spaces that we live. But otherwise, guys, thanks for joining me today. My name is Lisa Keegan, and I do hope that you're finding heaps of value in these videos. But I look forward to seeing you next week. So take care till then. Bye for now.